Now, some of you have had the situation before where you have maybe bumped a curb or not seen a parking stop and scraped your wheel, or you hit a pothole a little too hard and bent the edge of your rim. Whatever the cause, whether it's a rock that flew up and scraped the face of your wheel, or maybe you're shopping for a car and everything's beautiful on it except the wheels have been a little bit scraped up. Well, we're here to advise you that you do not have to necessarily go out and replace them or buy new ones because they can be prohibitively expensive. There is a shop, a local mobile business, Precision Wheels and Restoration, that can come to you and actually restore those to like new. And recently we had them do that to our vehicle. And those pictures will actually be available for you to see on the video that we produce, which will be on our Facebook and YouTube. And like we said, you can find that link under Precision Wheels and Restoration's business listing on our website within the next few days, so you can see a before and after of what it looks like. We had all four wheels done and restored to like new condition, and here to tell you a little bit about that process and the cost of it, how reasonable it is. Please welcome to the show Elijah with Precision Wheels and Restoration. Elijah, thanks for joining us today. I was just mentioning that you just did a set of wheels for us, and I'm just blown away. As a matter of fact, it really made the whole car look brand new. And I want you to tell a little bit, if you will, about the process, because I mentioned that, the edge of the wheel might have been scraped, the face of it might have been scraped, or the bead of it might have been scraped, or somebody could have bent a wheel. I mean, there's a whole lot that you can do with these, and I was actually surprised with the results because there was a part of it I didn't even know that you were capable of doing. So I wanted to share that with the community. Tell us a little bit about the wheel restoration process, what type of wheels you can repair, and how you go about doing that.
Well, I can repair most things. It's pretty rare when I have to turn somebody down for anything. Depending on, and each wheel is different, being as though, the damage is different, where it's at, how deep the damage is. And those things all are a little bit different to fix. A lot of what I do is I can take most damage and just kind of, re-sculpt it to look like a brand new wheel. And then we paint it with factory paint and put it back on your car so it looks brand new. There is some things, big gouges and stuff like that we do fill. You have to, you can't replace the metal that's missing. And then we just fill that and re-sculpt that back to a new-like finish and then just recoat it back to factory, blend the colors and whatnot, and put it on your car so it looks brand new. And it really does lift the face of the vehicle.
Well, it makes the value of the vehicle, the condition of the vehicle, look superior. But I didn't realize that you could re-sculpt the beading of the outside edge of the wheel, which is where what really impressed me is that I thought it was just you'd sand it down and paint it. But you literally recreated the bead appearance, the original bead appearance of the manufacturer's wheels. And I'll share with our listeners, I mean, this is a Land Rover, and the wheels would probably cost me $700-800 a piece to replace. And they're pretty gouged on the edge of the wheels, and all of a sudden you have re-sculpted them. And can you explain a little bit about that process? I mean, how do you go about re-sculpting a wheel? Is it spun?
Oh, no, it's all actually hand done. I've just been doing it for so long. I've gotten a good technique down, basically, where I can take the damage out and then you just sand it into where there's no more damage. It all blends right back into the wheel so that you could never tell that it was even there in the first place.
Well, in this case, too, these wheels, I mean, they were 7-year-old wheels, and the brake dust had accumulated into etching into the paint, too. So tell us a little bit about what you had to do to repair these wheels.
Well, those wheels were a little bit different because they had, little nicks around the lug holes and stuff where, different machines and stuff had put in little gouges in it. So basically, with your wheels, I had to sand everything, the spokes, the insides of the spokes. A lot of that has to be hand sanded because, sanders can't get down in there. So you just got to spend a little extra time, sanding in each spoke, sanding around all the little weird corners and stuff that are on the wheels, and just making sure that all the damage is out before you recoat it and it shows in your paint.
Well, and you mentioned too, because there was a lot of speckled granules in these wheels too. That the brake dust is apparently pretty acidic, and I wasn't aware of that because it had eaten into the paint, into the alloys.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very common. Yeah, if brake dust, when it gets on there, it literally etches into your clear coat. And what it'll do, especially on like the polished wheels, they're like a real highly polished, almost a chrome. It's got the brushed aluminum. When the brake dust breaks past that really thick clear coating that's on those, it gets under there, and it almost becomes like a cancer under the wheel. It's in between the aluminum and the clear coat that's on there, and it looks really bad.
Well, and
so,
that's
if you don't clean it too often, it will eat into your wheels, no matter which kind of wheels you have.
Well, and that's exactly what you described. It was almost like rust. It's so prolific. It spread so quickly, and that's what it kind of looked like. Is it was just everywhere, and it felt like sandpaper. And I mean, I thought the wheels were disposable. I mean, not just repairable. And then the finished product blows my mind. You mentioned that you use factory paint, but I didn't want to have you breeze over that because it's a big part of the process of making them, restoring them to like new. And there's other wheel restoration companies out there that use lower quality products in their restoration. And you mentioned that you use the OEM. Explain why you choose to do that and how much more it may cost you to actually do that.
Well, it does cost more, but in the long run, when you're not going back to refinish the same wheels you've done a bunch of times because you're having paint problems, that it gives you a bad reputation as a company. Just having to redo your work all the time. The fact that it's failing and it's bubbling and peeling off. I would rather spend a little bit more at the beginning than rather eat a whole bunch of wheel repairs that I have to keep going back and redoing because I used a less quality paint.
Well, and that's exactly what that results in is get it right, get it done right the first time, make it more convenient for the consumer, give them a better product that lasts longer. I mean, it's all there. I get that. I just wanted our community to hear that that's what a reputable company does that cares about their reputation and their consumer's final product. Now, I think this is also very interesting because I mentioned in the intro that potholes, people will take a deep pothole or maybe they'll hit a curb they didn't see and there'll be a dent or a bend in a wheel, and you can actually work with those too. So tell us a little bit about that, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a state-of-the-art machine that actually goes and rebends those. I put them on a balancer, and the balancer will give me factory specs on what the wheel should be and what the wheel is now. And I've actually fixed some really, really gnarly, just bad bends that the tire wouldn't even hold air. And then the machine tells you how far it's off, and then I put it on the wheel bender, and I heat it up and slowly go through it and rebend it back to round and not oval. And then we put it back on the wheel balancing machine, and then it'll give you factory specs on how the wheel passed, and then you can put it back on, mount, and balance it. And I've saved people $1,200 to $1,800 on a wheel that is very hard to find.
Well, again, now the different surfaces, because we mentioned you use factory paint, so you're talking about some of the painted wheels, but you breezed over, and I'd like you to go back and revisit them, those highly polished, almost chrome-looking, and the brushed aluminum looks that you can actually recreate those finishes as well.
Yeah, it's taken years to try to figure that out because the brushed aluminums and the polished are very complicated wheels to take care of. But yeah, there is a lot I can do with them. I can refinish. There's the new forged wheels that came out on some of the newer Camaros and stuff. They look like chrome, but they're actually just a really highly polished aluminum. You can take a lot of damage out of those and repolish them, and the aluminum that is under the damage polishes right back out to make it look like a brand new finish. And it comes out really nice.
Well, and then you mentioned that one of the things that I realized and I recognize that you can't work with necessarily is the chrome, because the chrome is actually a whole process of dipping and plating and everything else. Am I correct?
Well, not necessarily. Depending on the damage, where the damage is on the wheel, and what type of chrome, because there are different chrome coatings that go on. They now have kind of it's a base coating that goes over a black a black surface, and it gives it a chrome appearance, but it's very, very thin. Those ones are hard to replace, but like I said, each wheel is individual, and, you know, you have to kind of look at what the damage is, how far it is into the face. And then a lot of the chromes, the real chromes that have nickel and copper behind them, you can polish those metals to look like chrome and recreate that finish.
Well, and I was just going to say that, and I'm glad you touched on that, because I've actually seen you take a chrome wheel with a scraped bead at the edge of the wheel and polish it so highly that it looked like chrome at the edge, even though you didn't replace the chrome. It blended so smoothly that it made the wheel look new anyway.
Yeah, and I've done that on a lot of different vehicles. I know chromes are really, a sought-out wheel finish. So, I mean, there is a lot of chrome wheels out there, and I can do a lot with them. Like I said, the fake chrome, the one that's sprayed over black, is a little bit difficult. But, I can take most chrome wheels and take out a lot of damage that you wouldn't think I could. I've done it on Bentleys and stuff to where it's even down into the face, but they have such a thick chrome that you can take that down and repolish it and make it look the same.
And there's still chrome underneath it that you can repolish. That's interesting. Well, and I want to share that with our listeners because I've used your service and I've used it for years. And I really thought I threw you a curveball with this last set of wheels. And I hope our listeners actually take the time to look at this video, the before and after. That'll, like I said, it'll be up on our Facebook and on our YouTube channel, and it'll be under your YouTube link on your preferred business listing on our website, thecarbuyeradvisor.com, and see the before and after of these wheels, because I thought I threw you a set that you'd say, Mitch, this is, these are trash. And it made the whole car look brand new. And all I had to do after putting the wheels back on is wash the car, put a little dressing back on some of the moldings, and they'll see the picture. It looks like a brand new car. It really enhances not just the beauty of it, but the value of it. And
thank you. It does. It does increase the value, and especially on, the higher-end vehicles like yours, that and Porsches and Mercedes-Benz and stuff. I mean, a lot of people buy these cars, and the rims are very important to the car and to the look of the car. So when it's real dirty and dingy and scraped up, I mean, it really devalues the face of the car at a face value.
Well,
and when you redo the wheels, it brings up the value a lot, in fact. And
you just mentioned some very significant cars, and I can share with our listeners that you have worked on each of those, including some that you didn't mention, like Ferraris and Lamborghinis for me. I mean, I ran a very high-end facility here in Northern Nevada for a number of years. And you can work on anything. You mentioned Camaros to, pickup trucks. I mean, give them some idea of the different material. You said something about the forged alloys. You've got steel wheels, aluminum alloys. Tell us of some of the materials that they can have you work with.
I've done, a lot of different things. Pretty much any wheel can be repaired. It's just, what I need to do to repair that wheel. So like I said, it's all kind of different, but I've done multi-base coloring. I've done kind of a black inset. I've done Porsche wheels where they have just the outside as a silver and the inside it's kind of a bluish gray. And a lot of different just custom stuff, with striping and this and that, just depending on what the customers wanted. But, I can work on anything and have from, Hondas and Acuras and Toyotas to, Porsches and Ferraris, like you said. I do that on a regular basis, work on high-end cars, because generally that's where most people want their car to look pristine.
Well, and I think this is another really big point that I want them to understand. Like I mentioned, each of these wheels on this vehicle were probably around $700 to replace. And if you don't mind sharing roughly, and I understand that some jobs may be a little bit different and unique, but the typical wheel, what does it cost? And if I have, in this case, all four of them, what can I expect to spend to repair them instead of having to replace them? Because this would have cost me somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 to replace all four wheels on this vehicle. And if you don't mind sharing with them what the actual cost would be on something like that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, and I fixed wheels that were $1,800 a piece. It's just, what it is. But for most part, my general pricing is $75 to $100 a wheel, depending on, how bad the wheel is and how much time I have to spend with each wheel. And if there is all four and you need all four replaced like yours, you would always get the fourth wheel free.
So again, that's somewhere between $300 and $400. If let me go back a second, because if you do the fourth one free, $75 a wheel would be about $225 to $300 to repair all four wheels.
Yeah, all four wheels. Yeah, absolutely. Make the whole car look nice.
It's about 10% of the value of replacing all four wheels.
Yeah, and I try to keep it reasonable. What I do is a good service, and I want to keep it reasonable so people can make their cars look nice.
Well, and you do this both commercially and for private individuals, and so if you don't mind sharing, you do a lot of the local automotive dealerships' wheel restorations for their reconditioning process.
Yes, sir. I can't throw out their names, but yeah, all the high-end stuff pretty much in Reno I take care of, just because I do such a nice job, and they know they don't have to go back and look over my work to see if it was done right or, it looks good. They'll just know that I'm quality and that I will go out there and make it look good every time, that I care individually about each wheel, and I care about what my work looks like.
Well, and that's why you've been invited as a guest on our show, and a part of what we're up to is introducing businesses like yours to our community, quality businesses with quality standards and ethics, committed to professional excellence. And again, if they see these wheels, I won't have to explain that to them. They can see it firsthand. But one of the other beautiful parts about you is you're mobile. So share a little bit about how they can get a hold of you and what areas you service.
Well, you could either go onto my website, which is precisionwheels.net, or you can call me locally there in Reno, 775 area code 343-6067. And I am totally mobile, so I can come wherever to your place of business while you're at work or at your home, or even while you're out shopping somewhere. I can get your wheels done right there, and so it's not an inconvenience to you.
Well, and I might need to share this, that in my case, while I was having lunch, you did all four wheels.
Yeah, and that's generally the case, is where I can just go out and do it, where it's not an inconvenience to the customer, and they can get a great service done while they're doing something else.
It was unbelievable. I'm so thrilled. And again, just a pleasure to have you on our show. That's Elijah with Precision Wheels and Restoration. And again, please check out the YouTube link under his business listing on our website, thecarbuyeradvisor.com. In just a few days, you'll see the before and after in a video we'll produce over this audio clip. An amazing, amazing repair. And again, I thought I threw a curveball at you, but I'm just absolutely thoroughly impressed. And more impressed now than maybe ever, because I really thought these were unrepairable, and they look brand new. So thank you again for an excellent job and being a part of the Car Buyer Advisor show.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.